Hey, how y'all doing today? Welcome back to FAA Gaming. Today, we are going to have a massive cotton harvest. This is in Nevada. I've got about 400 hours into this map. One of the few maps I've used mods on. I've had a lot of fun. So I've harvested this field 3 or 4 times, and I thought y'all might like to see. So let's get into it. Now, as you can see, I've done a bit of terraforming. Took a long time and a lot of money uh, to make this field, but I've had a lot of fun. I financed it with grass. This whole entire field here is grass. I have, let's see, my biogas plant here. I think I'm stuck in the ramp. I added the ramp here so I could back right up and dump slurry from the cow farm. This has been a lot of fun. Silage has silage has been a lot of work. I believe I have this one almost full. It took a while, but then again, I've got a lot of grass. A lot of grass. Generally, when I have the cotton harvesters going, I try to get the equipment ready to redo the field. Get the seeders filled back up, the fertilizers filled back up. Whoa. I love the Great Plains mod planter. A bit quirky trying to fill it. When you go to open it, only the one opens. So sometimes you can put the liquid fertilizer in, no problem. Sometimes you can just put the seed in. Sometimes you can put them both in. Usually I leave that flap open because these seeders run out in the middle of the field. So generally I can just drive up with the seed tender and fill them. Down in the comments, tell me what's your favorite crop. I mean, we all know the money makers, but what kind do you prefer to do? Or tell me what's your least favorite. I think my least favorite is probably wheat and corn. They are a lot of work. Seems to be a lot of crop per acre. As where soybean is a lot less per acre, which gets at a higher price. Which in real life you actually get a better government subsidy if you're growing soybean, because there's a lot less soybean being grown. I know I had fertilizers that weren't full. There's my seeder. Alright, yeah, I got a fertilizer here that's almost empty. As you probably have noticed, this is my red farm. I tried to have made everything red. I wish the Great Plains modded version was able to be painted. That would have been cool. I do have green farms and blue ones, but I like to stick to all the same color on the same farm, where in real life you get what you get with the money you have. But this one I started with fertilizer contracts, and I did a lot of fertilizer contracts, almost to the point where I was sick of doing fertilizer contracts. But in order to get enough tractors to do this scale of project, I had to do something. Plus, I'm doing about 90,000 a day in milk, plus the slurry and manure that I deliver to my BGA. I do a lot there as well. But that took a long time to build up as well. Mowing all that grass and getting it into the bunker seems to be a blast. And of course leveling it all out, which I'm sure most of you have done and already know. Alright, we're full of fertilizer there. Now if you notice, I've stayed with a lot of the same tractors, simply because I'm a couple hundred away from the slot count, which I've never even got to the slot count max. I notice a couple YouTubers here and there emphasize a lot about what seems to be their irritation with slot count, but I've never really experienced an issue with it. Probably because I don't have 14 different types of tractors, which is probably not how most people would prefer to do it. Maybe they would like a bit more variety. Don't know. Personally, I like this tractor. It's pretty versatile. Having tracks is always nice. Lowers your torque needs. lowers your soil compaction. Some of the areas here in the terraforming, I haven't been very successful, and I tried to do it as economical as possible. I probably did 100 fertilizer contracts just to do the terraforming needed for these 3 fields to combine them. And it kind of hurts now that I don't have these 3 fields to continue to do contracts on. One thing to keep note on with the cotton harvesters. Probably 4 passes on this mega field. They need to be repaired. They'll start dropping mile per hour, which is always fun. Generally, I do not use this menu to repair them because it costs almost double. But as you can see, I've bought these slowly. If you ever try to do a field this large with one, it'll take a couple days. I now have 6, and the reason I haven't gotten any more than 6 is because I can only hire 6 workers. But yeah, as you can see, I've got a lot of equipment, and I'm still, what's that, about 160 away from the slot count, and I've got a lot of equipment. But as you can see, it's mostly doubles. And these, I mean, they're not useless per se, but they're expensive and pretty slow on the auger speed, which really is not a really big deal. I want to sell 3 of them. Not much money back, but oh, I'm sure it'll help with the slot count. Some of us really get bent out of shape about the slot count, and you know, I just don't get it. There's a smart way to do things, and you know, everything has a get around. Yes, I'm sure it would be nice to have every single case or every single deer, but realistically, it's not needed. I was doing a few fuel deliveries here and there, but for some reason I can't get tandem tankers operational anymore. And I wanted to see what, oh yeah, these 2 clowns. They can never figure it out down here at the bottom. The problem is I think that Billy Bob and Joe Bob here are making white lightning. And I think that they are drinking on the job. I don't like to speculate, but I really believe that they're doing something. And I should have been on top of that, really. Because really it just takes longer to get this field done if these two in the middle are bumping heads down there. It's really irritating. I would think as far as we've come in video games that the AI should be much further along. I come from the days of, I think I was 3 or 4 years old playing an Atari with my dad. And then he bought me a Commodore 64 and then a Tandy 1000. Get this. My Tandy 1000 didn't even come with a hard drive. The 1 megabyte hard drive he bought for me, because I was just running off of 5 1/4 floppies at the time, and for my birthday he bought me a 1 megabyte hard drive, and I'm not positive, but I think he paid $500 for a 1 meg hard drive. I mean, you can get a terabyte hard drive now for like $40. It's crazy how far technology has come and how far behind in some of the technology we are. Getting back to the AI of these brilliant Billy Bob and Joe Bob here drinking on the job. Which, generally speaking, working with heavy equipment, I don't suggest doing. The reason I like cotton more than the rest of them is because I don't have to chase these guys with a grain cart or a wagon of some sort. When I see them start dumping, I hop into the semi. I'm sure you saw it up there. I got a semi with tandem trailers. And yes, I'm using the auto load because this is my mod world. I like playing with mods, and I have worlds with no mods. As long as you're not doing government subsidy signs, I don't think it's cheating. I just think it's a different way of playing the game. If you're using government subsidy signs, I mean, there's really nothing to do. I mean, there's nothing to work for. There's nothing to work towards. I got a map I've been working on a while to get my last trophy. 10 million in one bank account, I think the trophy is. And no mods. And I've used a serious amount of fertilizer. I've made a serious amount of, I'm not saying they're mistakes, but things I could have done better. but you learn as you go. So y'all like doing cotton, or do you like having farms this large? Managing your employees? Taking them to AA meetings when they've had too much white lightning? Do you like this map? I think the crop circles, the UFOs are great. I've had a lot of fun with this map. I've probably spent way too much of my life on this map. Ooh. Probably shouldn't have a semi on the field. And how about these MMC mods? These guys are just freaking awesome. Not that there's not other awesome mod makers out there. But these trucks are great. Pretty versatile. Had a few issues here and there, but I think it was operator error. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. I just did update this mod, though. I should go over and upgrade the engine in it. You know, because everybody needs 1100 ponies under the hood. Ooh, don't want to destroy the crop. I think the shape of the steering wheel is pretty cool on this one. Gonna get it? Yeah, we got it. I try to keep them picked up as I go, because as soon as these 6 guys are done, I try to have my fertilizer guys in position to go. Most times I can get this field um, uh, picked, fertilized, planted, and before dark on most times. Uh, before we got that new Great Plains planter or seeder, whatever the hell it is. I had the coil cultivator out here. I had 4 of those running, and then I had the other Great Plains seeders going. And sometimes I couldn't get it all done in one day. Especially if I wasn't on top of it. Managing this many workers, plus getting the crop off the field and making sure everything's full, is a full-time job. But it's pretty rewarding and pretty lucrative. I think next I want to put in the I think it's the open field horse paddock, and then put some track in there, so my daughter can, whoa, so my daughter can play with the horses. She likes jumping the horses and riding them around, and got a little cash right there. If I worked at it and stopped buying stuff, I probably would have made it to the 10 million on this account. But I can't stop buying stuff. It's a disease. It's like, what's his name? Mr. Sealy P. He's addicted to contracts. Me too, brother. Can't stop doing them. Pretty much now I don't have time between the cotton and the silage. It's been nuts. Hope the audio quality is better on this one than the previous videos. Of course, I haven't made any money from YouTube videos, so I haven't went out and bought anything new, but I have tried a few different things to get the audio to stop cutting out. And of course, my last video I actually did on my son's PlayStation. He downloaded Farm Sim, and him and I were playing multiplayer, and he liked farming chickens and thought it was great until he went to go deliver the eggs. And this kid had like all the boxes perfect on the trailer in the back of the truck. Spent a lot of time on it. And they just don't deliver properly. Ooh, So, made a video on that, but I had made it on my account, and they blamed it on mods. So long story short, I stopped playing the game for a couple days because I was pretty angry with their response, and fired up his PlayStation. He quit playing because of it, because of the egg problems. And made the YouTube video on his PlayStation, but I never set up that the voice could go on to the recording. So that's why there was no voice. But I was talking the entire time, and honestly, trust me, it's a good thing y'all didn't hear me on that video. I had nothing good to say. It was negativity. And there's just enough negativity in the world right now. We don't need it. So I think I put some YouTube music on there. And left it at that. I don't think I like that the crop circles disappear when you're over top of them. I would think these guys would be ready to drop some cotton soon. Well, not quite yet. So I think I will fast forward through this, because it looks like it's going to probably be obviously longer than an hour video, but I could probably fit the entire field processing into one video through editing. So